Welcome back. We're here to preview Saturday's Premier League game between Liverpool and West Ham. Matt, let's start with Liverpool, the midweek game in the League Cup. It's a great game against Chelsea, but they came out on the losing end.
Yeah, it was a great game, wasn't it, overall? I think the problem for Liverpool was they were never at any point ahead during the 120 minutes of football. And if you're always playing catch-up to Chelsea, that's obviously a tough thing. And to be fair to Liverpool, they played well, didn't they, at Stamford Bridge? They had a lot of chances. Both goalkeepers made some great saves. Mignolet, obviously, been the subject of a lot of criticism this season, played really well. And I think Coutinho had a good chance first half. Sterling had a couple of chances. And on another day, they might win that game because Chelsea weren't at their best. But I think it was overall, as the game went on, especially into extra time, you got the feeling that Chelsea would sort of come through in the end. And when they got the goal, Liverpool needed to score anyway, obviously. But when Ivanovic got the goal in extra time, Balotelli came on and it was poor. And it was disappointing, but I think Liverpool fans can take heart from the performance because they matched Chelsea for long spells, especially the 120 minutes, especially at Anfield as well. They should have won that game. So on another day, they go through, but disappointment.
Yeah, they were really good in the first leg at Anfield especially, but it's obviously 2 weeks now since they played in the Premier League. They've had 3 games since then, the 2 legs against Chelsea and the FA Cup game. Obviously the FA Cup game against Bolton, that's really disappointing not to beat a Championship side at home, but even though the Cup form hasn't been great, obviously in the league they're doing really well at the moment. It's 4 wins in 5 games. Last time out they beat Villa 2-0 at Villa Park, and they're up to 8th in the table now, only 5 points off the top 4, so they are doing well in the league. And obviously the big news at the club this week is that Daniel Sturridge probably going to make his return, this weekend. He posted a photo on Instagram, I think, before the Chelsea game saying game time, #hard work, so people thought, maybe he's going to play against Chelsea, but in the end, he wasn't on the substitutes bench at all. Brendan Rodgers, I think, saving him for the weekend, but they really do need him. Obviously, Balotelli came on at Stamford Bridge in the League Cup and was really poor. He's played so badly this season, Balotelli. When they signed him for 16 million or whatever it was for Liverpool fans saying, I think that's a good deal. Obviously, if we can just get a few good performances out of him, be a fringe player, but since Sturridge got injured, obviously he's been sort of thrust into the limelight a lot more, and he's been really poor. I remember he came on and there was a chance at Stamford Bridge when he got the ball at the back post. Courtois was a bit out of position. He tried to shoot from a ridiculous angle, and I don't know what he was thinking. There was men in the box if he tried to cross it. I don't know what he was thinking, but I think Sturridge, that is so important for Liverpool to get him back. Because even though Sterling played up front a bit, he had the odd good game here and there, but Sterling's much better in a more sort of free role, behind the striker. When he's at the forefront, he's not as good. So Sturridge being back is just massive for them.
So you mentioned Sturridge, and I think what's coming up now the next month is so important for Liverpool. I mean, they've had their struggles this season, so have a lot of teams, but they are still battling for the top 4. So they go to Bolton in the FA Cup, which is a lot of teams got knocked out. We know all about that: Chelsea, City, Spurs, etc. And I think if they can beat Bolton, they then play Palace, and there's a run to the final there. I think there's a big thing about Steven Gerrard having his Wembley final before he goes, but it's obviously going to be a tough game at Bolton, who are not easy to beat on their own patch. And in the league, they play Everton and they play Spurs and Southampton. They go to Besiktas, they play Besiktas in the Europa League, and they play City. So it's an incredible run of form. Besiktas will not be easy. That'll take a lot out of you, obviously over in Turkey, the 2-legged affair. But that's a tough run of form. And I think if they are going to finish in the top 4, it will be decided over the next month and a bit, because you need to win those games. Because Liverpool at home sometimes, there have been the problems this season. I mean, against Leicester and teams like that, they struggle at home. We saw it against Bolton as well. So they need to pick up points. It's such an important month for them.
Really is huge. And this game against West Ham is not easy at all. West Ham, they start the game above Liverpool in the table, 1 point above them in 7th place. And they're through in the cup. There was a tough game they had at Bristol City. Obviously, Bristol City doing really well in League One, but West Ham came through, got the late goal from Sacco. So they're through in the cup. And like you say, with all the big teams going out, teams like West Ham who are doing well in the Premier League, they'll really fancy their chances of getting to Wembley. Obviously, quite a while since West Ham went to Wembley. Obviously, it was against Liverpool, that famous final with Gerrard scoring that screamer late on. But I think West Ham, there's reason to be very optimistic at the moment, going through in the cup. And their last league game was a 3-0 win against Hull City. In the first half, they weren't great. Hull, they had chances in that first half to take the lead, but they couldn't take them. And in the end, West Ham, they sort of came through in the second half. Their sort of quality told. 3 goals in the second half was very impressive. And like you say, doing really well in the league, and this is not an easy game for Liverpool at all.
No, I mentioned Liverpool's run of form, but West Ham have also got a tough run of form. Everyone seems to have a top month at the moment. I think of the current top 6, West Ham play 5 of them over the next month or so. So that's going to obviously determine whether they finish. I mean, you look at their hopes for the season, they're not going to finish in the top 4, but if they can finish in the top 7, 8, that's a great season. Maybe get to the FA Cup semi-finals, final, whatever, that's a good season. So it's an important month for everyone to get to that stage of season now where, we're 22 games in, so you get to that stage where you need to sort of work out what you want to do and then pick up the results, and it should be interesting times for West Ham fans.
Definitely. I think West Ham will go to Anfield full of confidence. They've seen Bolton go and get a result there, and obviously Liverpool, they might be a bit tired from the Chelsea game. So I think West Ham have got a chance here. What's your score prediction?
I actually fancy West Ham to get a draw. I mean, they've only lost 6 times in the league this season, which is incredible at this stage of the season. There's been obviously last season they had their bad patches and stuff, but I really fancy them to get a draw. I think it's going to be 1-1.
1-1. I'm actually going to back more goals than that. I think the return of Sturridge could really lift Anfield. I think there could be a great atmosphere there. I think I'm just going to back Liverpool to win it 3-2. So we've got 1 draw and a Liverpool win. Thanks for watching.